Hey everyone, welcome to the Radical Geek YouTube channel. We are inside today due to storms and just double checking a couple things. I was worried there because I got like a bunch of weird errors and I was like, I'm not even sure if I'm actually live. OBS is still saying I'm offline, but it looks okay from here. And let me just make a change here. There we go. So I see that we have a lively stream tonight. We've got, wow, both Hans and Nicole are on. Reichwin is here. Hungry Heath was first. Sharon was here eating those pork belly Brussels sprouts that the recipe came from Shelly Eats Steak and Hungry Heath. Let's see, Blue Dove is here. Oh, and you're going to try out the smoked brie recipe. I hope you love it. It was really fantastic. And the entire wheel that I thought would have to be rewarmed a few times disappeared within like the half hour. So it wasn't just me who loved it. That was a nice thing. And then, hey, J Dog. Oh, on the iPad. Yeah, I don't really know how to use an iPad, so I don't have to. But I do know when we're using the Android or if I use my Switch to watch streams, tagging is much more difficult than it is at the computer. So, oh, and Brenda is on here. Grilled burgers and chicken thighs. Oh, that sounds good. Ooh, marinated cucumbers. That sounds great. I love cucumbers. So, oh, and Sharon is, let's see. Oh, and Reichwin is here and Gray Life. Hey, good to see you all. Let's see, what do we got here? Hans, oh, exchange student too. Good. And Swang and Lisa Strange is here. Let's see. Wow, you guys are just really busy here for a second, catching everything up. Lots of hellos back and forth, and oh, okay, and some little tech supports. So let's get started. First of all, though, I want to get these meatballs into the air fryer, but real easy. I have my ground beef. I have a half cup of pork rinds. It's just like making meatloaf, basically. A half cup of pork rinds for some binder. You could half that and then add Parmesan cheese if you like. You could, if you wanted almond flour, it would be okay. But honestly, for meatballs, I really prefer pork or cheese. I think that the flavor profile is better, and I prefer my carbohydrates. If I'm going to have nuts, I want nuts, not almond flour mixed into my meat. So that's just a personal preference, but you do you. And oh, hey, two crazy ketos. Good to see you tonight. So, okay, I got my half cup of pork rinds. Then I have a quarter cup of very, very finely minced garlic and onion. It's a little choppier than a paste, but not by much. And you absolutely could paste it up the rest of the way if you wanted to. If you have a really, really high fat ground beef, I got the 80/20 because it was on clearance at the grocery. It was $3 for the pound and a quarter of the ground beef. So it would probably be fine, but you could even, in this case, use the dehydrated kind like they use in seasonings. I'm going the wrong way with my dishes. I changed things around here in the studio for downstairs, and now it's backwards. Also, my lighting is off again, but we'll survive. Also, I'm further from the computer, which I already couldn't see. Also, I have a little bit of herb paste. And herb paste is just your basic variety of herbs from the garden, whatever you got fresh. I had basil. My basil always does well. I have a ridiculous amount of sage. It has gone absolutely wild in my garden this year, which I love because we love sage. My oregano also, if I let it go and didn't hack out big parts of it every year, could take over the entire lawn. And let me tell you, I'd be tempted. But you take that and you put it in your molcajete with some avocado oil, and you just muddle it until it is in a pasty form. Uh, so that's it for your herb paste. I also have 1 egg. And then I have random seasonings. It's a little bit of the ghost pepper flake that I ground in, and then Redmond's salt, Redmond's garlic pepper. So yes, I've got the finely minced garlic, and then I got garlic pepper on top of it. I really love garlic. You can tone that back if you want to. You could just put in black pepper if you want. But I also really like the extra salt, because you do need to salt your meatballs. If you only went with black pepper, you would also then want to add additional salt. Yes, I recognize that the pork rind crumbs are very salty, but it's not enough. So that's the main thing there. Then for your bouncy meatballs, to make them soft and extra, I don't know if juicy is the right word, but it gives them that nice bounce like you get like maybe in Asian restaurants. I add a half a scoop of unflavored beef gelatin. And because I was in a cheesy mood, I've got a half a cup of shredded cheddar. And you just mix that in. And now we have to do the yucky part. Oh, hungry meat, starting with the moist already. I see that there's lots of stuff here. J-Dog's talking about the chicken nuggets, which those are awesome. I really want to try them according to the 2 Crazy Ketos recipe with the breading, but I get really lazy, so I just glomp it all into a bowl and mix it together. But, you know, eventually. So, but for your meatballs, now you're going to just take all of that and mush it together just like meatloaf. Wear your gloves and dig in. It's the easiest way. You can, if you really can't handle it, go ahead and use your sturdiest of all silicone or wooden spoons. I prefer not to use wood in raw meat, but you can if you really want to. But then you need to boil off your wooden spoons and then recondition them with a little bit of coconut oil. Or you could use avocado oil, but sometimes avocado oil can go rancid in your wooden implements, so that's why, avocado oil. Bacon grease can go rancid, so don't use like bacon grease to condition your stuff. I'm losing it, guys. So, and make sure you're using food grade oils when you condition your kitchen implements. Don't use, stuff that you wouldn't eat. Flax oil is also nice, but if you're not real careful with it, it can tend to get gummy. But you just give this a nice good shaping, just like a meatloaf. We're literally making a meatloaf with the gelatin added in to make our meatballs and the extra ingredients. It's totally and completely flexible. I see Gigi's here, and Gigi has joined us. Let's see. And we're going to make some small meatballs. The reason we want them smaller is not only for the cook, but they will have more applications that way. And this is what's going to take a little bit of time this evening. Oh, Sharon says this has been a week of balls. Also might have more meat than I can fit on my little air fryer tray. But it is what it is. And that is it for making meatballs. I'm sure many of you make meatballs all the time, and the only things that I had hoped to make smoked meatballs, which would have been really nice tonight, but especially because this will be meal prep. I'm obviously not eating all of these meatballs today during the live stream. That would be a different stream, and pay only if I have to eat like an entire pound and a half of meatballs in one sitting. I'm just kidding, guys. But, so I had been hoping to smoke them because I enjoy the smoked meats and I think it goes well. But, it's thunderstorming outside. So hopefully we don't lose power. If we lose power, the stream will last like about 10 minutes because we have a UPS, and we'll say our goodnights. But I'm not anticipating that. We've been very lucky, despite the fact that we've been having power outages left and right here. We have been very fortunate and only had a few minutes with flickers and light brownouts. So that's a very good thing for us. We have been very, very fortunate. And if I do have extra meat, I just get to set it aside, and they will be whisked away by magic other people in the household, and they will go throw it in the fridge. And in the morning, even though it has the cheese in it, I have another package of the ground beef. I will mix it with this and then add some more spice and cumin, and then fry it up into some taco meat or ground meat for stuffing things. But these meatballs have extra uses. The nice thing is, even though they're cheesy, they have multi-use. So you could eat them straight up like I'm going to tonight. You can serve them over some vegetables if you're a vegetable eater. You can put them in bone broth, and it makes a delightful soup, especially if you drizzle in egg to your boiling broth and make the kind of I don't know what most people call it, but we call it egg flour or flouring in the soup because that's where we learned it. And I actually don't know the actual correct words, but that's what we used to get it out of, when I was traveling with my translator doing import wholesale. So, oh, the warden is here, said they slept so late and feel behind today. I hate when that happens, but honestly, though, I consider when I can sleep in, because I've been an early riser for so long, that it is like just a super strong signal from my body. So I relish it on days when that can happen. Tomorrow, I am going to remember to post pictures of my kid's birthday cheesecake. You guys are not going to believe how incredible it looked. It was definitely on the high side for carbs, but it was still mostly keto compliant as long as we were pretty careful on everything else we ate during the day. I made because they wanted crust. I usually go crustless on the cheesecake, but they really wanted crust, and hey, you only turn 19 once. Or rather, you only turn 20 once. So I was like, sure. And I did use and make an almond flour crust that I flavored with some graham cracker extract. And then we made the cheesecake. And after the cheesecake had done its chilling and shrunk in for the sides, I made a berry jelly and poured it over the top while it was still slightly liquidy, so that it would go and leak down the sides and coat it. And this morning when we unmolded it, it was encoded with a nice thick layer of the berry jelly on top, and then a thin little coating all the way around the sides, meeting up with the crust. And it was, I tell you, it was so good and worth the indulgence, and so my birthday is July 4th, and we won't have quite that kind of indulgence. I'm far more inclined to just make myself a special chaffle with whipped cream or something like that. I see everybody, but it's mostly greetings. And some tips about how to handle struggling with the heat. Yeah, you can definitely turn the AC on in the car. Remember to protect your hands opening the car doors so you don't burn yourself. I still remember those days living in the desert. And the other thing is, do remember, if you're using your vehicle for some air conditioning, to start it up and roll down your windows for a little bit before you actually are going to spend any time in there, so it has time to exchange the air and start cooling around. Otherwise, you will be too overheated to benefit from the air conditioning in a reasonable time frame. Oh, Hungry, he said, sorry, it was away. He was editing a picture for the What's on Your Plate post. Oh, those are my favorite. I love seeing the pictures, and I'm glad when people post them. So Even I'm bad and don't always remember to post. I do try, but I make the original one, so that's my contribution. Oh, hey, Air Fryer Auntie, good to see you. How has your cooking uh meetup gone? I know it's not quite a meetup, but you know what I'm saying. I don't know. I was gonna call it date, but it's not really a date. Frenzy date, I guess, is the. I don't know what the right word is. Hanging out. So, gosh, I'm sorry these meatballs are taking so long. And I didn't preheat the air fryer, so it'll take even longer. Fortunately, it's not a big deal because then we can chat and go through here. Oh, and Gray Life says they went to see Black Phone earlier today. Oh, how was that? Oh. Anyways, oh, I lost my train of thought. I'm really hungry because I've been reading all these food posts and moderating in other places and planning for a social meetup. In a few weeks, we are going to one of my favorite restaurants locally. It's called Cooper's Hawk. There's not a whole lot we can eat on the menu, but they do make some accommodations for me with some pork chops and in a nice red wine sauce. And it's actually a winery plus restaurant, but the restaurant's like super bougie. So we don't go there very often. But we are meeting with some friends that we actually haven't seen since pre-pandemic, and some other friends who are very closest who we have seen, but uh, not in this configuration. So we're just like, it's going to be so awesome to just go and hang out. I probably will indulge in a glass of wine because I know it will be amazing. Very high quality. Like I said, it's their specialty, and they do understand when I tell them, I need a very dry wine. I want a very oaky, with like, that almost a cigar finish. And so their sommeliers are extra spectacular. So it will be that special birthday, well, belated birthday experience. So we will plan for that, and I'm super looking forward. Lots of hellos and greetings back and forth. Oh, and the warden says they watered their lawn while cleaning the garage doors too. So, to get mildew off the garage doors, uh, they make a product that you can find in hardware stores. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, so I'll have to look it up again and get that for you if someone doesn't already answer in the chat. So, finally, I have rolled all those meatballs and I used all of the meat, so that is excellent. Get my dirty dishes to the side. I'm going to click air fry, and my beef is going in at 425. Swipe my table a little bit. Got some mess on it. And in we go. It's a little hard to put the tray in there. Oh, you know what? I have to put the time. So 15 minutes at 425 in the air fryer. Also, these are great. You can have them with barbecue sauce. You can have them with marinara sauce. You can have them just plain. You can make a cheese sauce. I went very, very generic, and I just mixed together a little bit of mayonnaise, spicy brown mustard, and evil ooze. I love that mixture, and then a little bit of black pepper, and mix it together. So there's nothing special about the sauce. There's nothing fancy to it. It's just something to have with my meatballs later. Let's see. I'm going to scroll back, but now it does look, oh, does anyone have a red velvet mug cake recipe? Oh, Stwang, if you leave a comment to remind me, I actually do have a red velvet mug cake recipe, and I will be glad to share that with you. You might also, the warden, I'm not sure if you have one. I also believe that Keto Chow has a Keto Chow red velvet recipe that was really outstanding. So I'm not 100% on that, but I think so. It was either Keto Chow or Two Crazy Ketos, and since Two Crazy Ketos is on, maybe they can answer that. So I'm not sure. Oh, okay. Oh, air frying auntie is cooking right now, making the Keto Chow lime macarons. At I really look forward to seeing to hearing how they come out. We kept meaning to make them and just haven't got around to it. There's a lot of recipes, so it's hard to say. Sorry, the hair is bothering me. It's gotten really long and shaggy. I need a haircut real bad, but have no desire to actually go get it done. You'll find over the course of the time in my live streams that that's a recurring theme. It's all out of hand. So let's see. Uh, oh, and Grey Life says they are meal prepping. So what are you meal prepping? We want to hear. And Brenda says they wish they were getting the rain up there. Sorry, I wish we could get rid of it. Although, actually, I don't mean that because it's been really, really hot and muggy. So we need the rain. Plus, I've been neglecting my pepper patch, and it could use the water. So, and the warden is making the licorice keto chow ice cream. So, and let's see, we already talked about the black phone being is creepy, not terrifying, but creepy. The water, we talked about that. Explanation about black phone. Oh, I'm sorry to read that, Grey Life. J Dogs, cracking jokes. We love their jokes. Oh, and Two Crazy Keto says I fit a lot on the tray. I did. I'm glad. I just really wanted to get it all done and not have to do two cooks. And Han says the meatballs make him want to eat dinner again. I say that often when I'm watching other channels. Oh, and Hungry He says that he thinks that the balls would be really good with raspberry chipotle sauce. Oh, yes, it would. I don't, but let's see. It was a favorite from pre-keto, but had to give it up due to wonky ingredients. So I'm wanting to recreate it. Yeah, actually, I think it wouldn't be that hard to get raspberry chipotle. We could collab on that. I can't do it this week because we're prepping for the holiday and we've had a lot of stuff going on at work. But next weekend, I do have some time where I could maybe make a couple stabs at it, and I'll share with you where I'm at, and then you can make some tweaks too. Grey Life is prepping Korean boneless beef ribs, chicken, the Hungry Heath pimento cheese stuffed mushrooms, and the Hungry Heath Brussels and Asian marinated pork belly. Oh, that sounds so good. And then, and Cool Kid Keto says they're getting rain in Houston next week. Exchange student shares my pain, needs a haircut, but avoiding it. Oh, and thanks, Two Crazy Ketos, for the compliment. I appreciate that. It's just that it's gotten really long and oddly wavy, and I like in the summertime to shore it all off to like about a half-inch in length all over. So, anyways, while we're waiting for our meatballs that have 15 minutes to go because it came to temperature, it may steam a little bit too, just so you know. If you see like stuff coming out here from smoke, it's nothing alarming. There's a lot of moisture in the meatballs, so it does sometimes steam up on the window and sometimes steams out the bottom. That's a weird Instapot, Instafryer, Omni Plus thing that happens. It's nothing to be alarmed at. It's just that's where the seams are in it, and it has vents on the sides. So that's why that happens. I have sparkling water today. It's just Kirkland. It's nothing special. I didn't even pony up for the San Pellegrino. Groceries are getting so expensive. I'm cutting some corners. I mean, I should just make my own, but I need to make a trip and get more of the. I need to get my CO2 refilled. All right, cappuccinos. You've seen my machine before many a times. We are going to use my Cafe Bustelo, fill up our filter. It is the regular standard espresso still filter. I am currently using a double exit port filter. I don't know if we've really mentioned that to you guys before, but I think I did when we first talked about making espresso and about how it how the double exit can help alleviate from the high bar pressure channeling problems, things like that. But that's just one thing. I have actually been thinking about picking up a different one that doesn't have a bottom at all. It's just the fine mesh sleeve, and I think that would probably really improve our espressos a bit. I mean, they are good. You know, I'm just that way about coffees. I'm a crazy person when it comes to the coffees. And as you recall, we kind of just level it up, clear off the edge so it's nice and clean and tidy. One thing I didn't bring down is I have another little tool that I picked up that does improve the espresso, and I left it, but it's just got like a bunch of little needles. Sort of looks like a felting tool. If you've ever seen those, you know, like all the little needles, and you just smush it in through your espresso and do that. But we're going to just go ahead and go with the tamping and give it a good squish. We'll once again brush off our edges. We're being extra particular today and not quite as lazy as we are sometimes. If you do a good tamp, your level of espresso will significantly appear to reduce. Give it a good smash. A second tidy. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Again, my lights, I need to really work on that. Oh, there you go. Nice and smooth and very compact. You need that because of the high bar pressure to make the espresso during the extraction. If you don't do that, the grounds will just simply be shot all over the place and the extraction will be disgusting. You will not like it, I assure you. So, may I just put my Bustelo coffee away? Sometimes it takes me a second because now I'm not looking at it the regular way. There we go. Tighten it down. Okay, it's going to be a minute to warm up, and then we'll brew our espresso. We're inside, so you know it's going to do that weird thing with the sound and the volume. So we'll apologize in advance for that, but I'm not like super sorry because I really want my cappuccino. Oh, and thanks, Air Fried Annie, for reminding people to go and hit the thumbs up. That way we don't forget at the end. So, one thing I forgot is to bring an extra towel down to set those meatballs on so that it doesn't burn through my tablecloth. But let's see. Let's look through these comments again because I've lathered on and got behind. Oh, Air Fried Annie says their purple hair has turned green in the back. Yeah, that can happen, and that's just part of the fading process. So now you can decide what your next color is. Oh, and Real Life says their side shave is getting shaggy, but they need an appointment next week. So, oh, Sharon had the mold remover. It's called Wet and Forget Outdoor. Yes, I knew it was some weird name that made me think of like swimming or slip and slides outside in the summer, but it was actually to clean the mold off your garage door. Oh, Strong says they've seen that stuff at Costco and is questioning, so it really works? And yes, it does work. And definitely, Hans, no need to call the fire department. It's all good. So let's see. Oh, and Air Fried Annie says they got a canned water. I've had some canned waters. What was that one that we got? The death water, which was Nothing special. I was so disappointed because I really wanted to be very spectacular, but it was not. Okay, my water has come to temp, so now we're going to have awkward sound time while we brew. You should know cappuccino is a double shot. So it's a double shot of espresso. You can add more if you want to, but you need to have the capacity in your cup. That's an important thing. I did warn you about the sound. My espresso machine is very loud. But it's real fast, so that's fine. It's just going to finish dripping off. And my cup is very big because we'll do, and the next thing is that we'll have to have the sound for the steam, so that's also loud. Oh, Brenda says they only have a mocha pot, so they make a cappuccino. Actually, yeah, but you know what? It's still good, and in past streams we've talked about the mocha pot and how to switch it up a little bit, or how to use it properly. So at least you know you're getting a good coffee, or you've had it long enough that you played with it and you know how to make it just so the way you like it. It's still dripping, but it's just about done. And then we will steam our milk. Let's see. Oh, Blue Dove says they bought a case of Waterloo, but they think it'll be our last. Their kids only want to drink stuff after it's flat, and they prefer plain water. Oh, like Waterloo was one of my favorites. That stuff does not last here at all. Everybody in the house wants to drink it up. So I always get, and they drink like my favorite flavor first, like the strawberry is suddenly like super gone fast, and I'm like, well, great. So here's what it is. Oh, and J Dog says they tried the Waterloo from Costco and went back to the Kirkland brand. More value for canned water. Well, I guess I'm in the minority. I love the Waterloo, but I also do buy the Kirkland brand when I buy the canned waters. They're very convenient to take out for we took a big cooler and we put a ton of them in for Pride. So we had really nice icy cold bubble water, which was better than $3 for a bottle of 25-cent Kroger waters. Oh, and Great Life says their batch of Brussels is mega. That's awesome. Oh, and Cool Kid Keto says they use purple shampoo to keep their silver hair all silver foxy. Nice. I didn't know that about the purple shampoo. Oh, Attila's reminded me the canned water was Liquid Death is what it was called. Let's see. And Cool Kid Keto says their favorite water is Mountain Valley spring water. Yep. And Grey Life has the watermelon Waterloo in their fridge. So there's our espresso. You see I've got the nice crema on top. The other thing I will tell you is with cappuccino is 50-50. Well, it's a 1-to-1 ratio of liquid to foam. So however much liquid of the steamed milk you put in combined with your espresso, that's also how much foam you're supposed to put. I technically may be erring more on the side closer to the cortado, not quite latte or flat white. Which, as you might remember from the cortado, if you were here, if not, you can rewatch it. We talked about the differences between and the percentages. They want me to turn the meatballs, so I'm going to go ahead and do that real fast before we steam our milk. They are looking good and getting very nice and grease soaked. I really like them on the smoker better because they're not swimming in the grease, but on the other hand, they're still really good. And I don't mean that because I don't like the fat. There's a difference between being soggy in the grease that it's cooking in and being a nice, good fat. Not that these are going to be bad. They'll still be really delightful, especially because now that I'm turning them all the sides will be browned. And that's what we're really looking for here. And they are getting nice little cheese skirts from the cheese that I mixed in, which, cheese skirt is the best. If you disagree with me, that's okay. But I'm going to think in my head that you are wrong. Cheese skirt is the best. And you know how small I was making them. Of course, the meat shrinks, so they're even smaller, which is why I said they were good, versatile mini meatballs. So they'll be good. I'll be eating on them for at least tomorrow. I'd like to say they would last us several days, but that never happens here. They always everything gets eaten up twice as fast as I expect. All right, steamed milk. So we just need to get it ready, and it says it's ready. So we are going to go ahead. We're going to get our steam. We're going to get our container here, which, by the way, is my 50-50 blend of heavy cream and water to thin it down. A lot of places will tell you just get a heavy cream when you're filling that. I'm telling you, it's too heavy for a cappuccino. You can absolutely order it that way, but sorry about the sounds once again. We get it good and warm. Pat amongst yourselves. All right. Press just a little bit of a couple drizzles of espresso over there. Give everything a quick wipe later. We go through it with the hot steaming towel. And you give this a little knockdown to bring down the foam level in the milk and also burst through some of the bubbles and bring them up. I will tell you, one thing I've never gotten a hang of is the fancy pour. So I won't be making hearts or flowers or swans. We are just doing old school cappuccino. So, but when you pour your milk in, you should know you need to tilt this almost so like it is almost going to spill. And you bring it very close and you pour it in a circle and start bringing the level up. And when it hits that, like really close to the rim, that's when you start doing that pouring. But for me, it's just a blob. Sadly, there is no heart. It's just a mush. But that's okay. It still tastes perfect. And that is it for your cappuccino. If I had remembered to bring a spoon, actually, I'll wash it. You can then come in here and you can scoop off some extra foam for the top, but there's really no need at this point. That is your cappuccino. So as you can see, the cappuccino is very milky because it's 1-to-1. And that is also another reason to go ahead with the mixture of bringing the heavy cream to a milk consistency, because it also cuts the carbs in half, which is good. It's something that you strive for. So I have to constantly clean now because I, in case you didn't notice, swapped out the mat, the table and the tablecloth. But I've got a regular tablecloth underneath, and then I put a nice, easy to clean, easy to sanitize vinyl cloth on top. So now you can see everything though, because it's black, which looks dark brown on the camera. Take a sip of water. Oh, and thank you, Gray Life. That's quite the compliment. Gray Life says that they don't think any of us would turn our noses at any creation that I concoct. And the meatballs are done cooking. We'll pull them out in a second. So. Oh, and J Dog says, at least it's not just that I'm challenged with typing today. Oh man, I was typo city today, and I just don't even care. And oh, Two Crazy Ketos is complimenting my workstation. Yeah, if I could just figure out my lighting, it would be really nice down here. And one of the changes that we recently just made was to adjust the table, replace the table really with something that I could stand up behind. After being outside, I realized that sitting down, while it was the right fit for the table we had previously, really was limiting in the motion. Plus, the space was really extra compact. It's still really compact because there are limitations, but I feel much more spread out now. And that is definitely appreciated. So, we'll go ahead and pull these meatballs out. All right, so here they are. You can see now they're nice and crispy, and actually the grease kind of pulled over to one side. So now these are exactly perfect with their, the crunchy cheese has leaked out onto the outside a little bit and added to the crispiness. Oh, okay, it's not going to make a scrapey sound that you can hear on our camera. So, but yes, and so they are actually really just very perfect. And I'm going to throw a couple on the plate here. I'm going to be unnaturally smart with myself here for a minute and remember to not just chow down into these because I'm really hungry. I'm so hungry that I'm actually like salivating, which definitely means I'm ready for food. But I'm going to let them cool down so I do not burn my mouth. Oh, and Two Crazy Keto says this was a nice quick cook time. A good recipe for after work when you want something nice, but you don't want to cook for 45 minutes. Yeah, and we do try to keep the recipes on our Sunday nights quick and not quite as elaborate, although sometimes I get carried away. It is what it is. Oh, and J Dog says they concur. He's his own worst critic and always worried if his creations are good enough. It's an internal struggle. You know, that's why I try to do things that I feel like all of us can do. And that's why I show all my mistakes. So, like, if something spills or something doesn't turn out right, you all know that, you know, you can do it. So, even though we made a souffle one time, you all saw it was super easy. And so we can all make souffles. Okay, the cappuccino came out just right. It's so creamy. Ooh, that's a lot of creaminess for someone who usually has black coffee. It is good. Don't get me wrong. It's good. But it's a shock to have like that heavy cream. Like I hardly ever even put stuff in the, I forgot. I don't know. I don't know what I was saying. Anyways. What is my family's most requested meal? That's hard to say. I'm going to go with the bacon wrapped cheesesteak profile meatloaf. And that recipe wasn't mine. That came from the, what was it? Two Keto Dudes, Carl and Richard. It has, and that's basically, actually doesn't have the cheese on the outside. It has the, it does have Parmesan into the meatloaf mix, but you spread it all out flat, your meatloaf mix, and you spread in there sauteed peppers, onions, and mushrooms. And you put a layer of provolone down, and then you roll it all up on a layer of bacon and cook the whole thing. It's totally encased and absolutely delicious. And I think that's probably a favorite. I will tell you, I don't make it very often because it's kind of a lot of effort. So it is what it is. But for simple things, honestly, sauerkraut with sauteed Teton sausages are another very big favorite. So I'm just gonna go ahead and chow down on one of these. Mm. Mm. They're just right. And the secret to that, though, is the gelatin. It gives them a soft chew. So even though they're cooked up and they're super crunchy on the outside, they the meat, it's still really tender, and you don't get that stiffness into the ground beef that you get sometimes when you're cooking it. So it's really the key to mini meatballs. Uh, I often, if I don't fry them up like this, I also make a play on a Mexican soup called albondigas because they usually have like rice in the meatballs. Sometimes I'll use cauli rice or a little bit of grated radish in, but most of the time I just skip that step altogether. And those, you are using the raw meat and you're cooking them in the boiling broth. But the bounciness to the meatballs comes from that gelatin. I think that in other applications, especially in a lot of Asian soups, there's some Vietnamese soup that I can't remember the name of it, but it also has bouncy meatballs in it, they call it. And that bounce and flex and tenderness of the meat comes from adding in the gelatin. Uh, some recipes I've seen have added things like xanthan gum, and I find that I don't like the textural change that it provides. Oh, let's see. Oh, Gray Life says they tried out their new to them air fryer last night. Far better than their Bucket Ninja air fryer. Nice. Oh, you got the New Wave Bravo XL. You know what? I've heard that it was I've heard that those are good, the New Wave stuff. I also know someone who bought the New Wave induction burners and they really love them. So, pretty good. Oh, Blue Dove doesn't like pretty food. They said it makes them feel like they shouldn't eat it. They don't understand super artistic design with food. Oh, I love pretty food. But I also don't feel bad tearing it all up either. So at least there's that. I figure if they went through the effort of making it look good, they also want it to taste good. Therefore, I should eat it and enjoy and savor it. So that's my way of looking at it. I promised Shauna. Well, Shauna promised me that they would taste some seafood if I cooked it for them. And I have an interesting smoked salmon, very, very attractive kind of recipe that I don't know, it might not be the right thing to try out at first, but I really enjoy it. I also think that the sesame seared tuna steak might be another winner. Oh, and Warden says the red licorice keto chow ice cream turned out well. They added butter and eggs as the fat. Oh, nice. I really like the red licorice ice cream. It's so weird. It's very nostalgic back to like childhood and eating those Twizzlers, which I don't know why, but it really took me back, and I like that part. Oh, and Lisa says their mother-in-law made the great albondigas, and they really miss it, so they need to make it themselves. Yes, I encourage it. We'll do it sometime because it's actually not hard to do, especially if you make your chicken stock or bone broth ahead of time. Oh, and Two Crazy Ketos agrees that the Teton sausages are really good. Oh, and Air Fried Annie says yes, they did agree. Oh, and Two Crazy Keto loves smoked salmon. To answer the question about dogs using the pillows, yes, yes, our dog does use a pillow like a pillow sometimes, but uh, more than the dogs, the cats do. the cats like to lay down with us, and they sleep just like we do, with their head on the pillow and cuddled up. So not all the time, of course. Just when you're like happy that the cat is loving you and paying attention, then they're like, no, I was just kidding, get away. So, but they do frequently, the cats do lay and use it like a pillow a lot of the time. So I don't know what that's about. And Cool Kid Keto says their dogs just use them as a pillow. I find that that's a thing that big dogs like to do. Big dogs want to be on your lap, or they want to lay down on you. Oh, that reminds me. I don't remember if this was the story I said I should share or not, but it doesn't matter because me and my stories, it's like as if I'm 90 years old and now I've got a captive audience, so you have to hear all my crazy stories. So, before I had a tiny dog, and way back, a long, long time ago, I had a Burmese, which are not tiny dogs, they are enormous, and I had a Newfoundland. And Newfies, he's as big as me. So, and my Newfie was a big cuddler. And I kind of sort of got used to it, but one day I fell asleep on the couch, and he climbed up on the couch, and he was sleeping on my legs, and I totally didn't think about it, but, he was bigger than me, literally, and sleeping on my legs, but when I woke up, I couldn't feel my legs. And my dad had MS and had a lot of trouble with numbness in his legs and stuff. And you know how like crazy thoughts happen when you're just sort of coming conscious? I immediately like panicked and freaked out and was like, oh my God, I can't feel my legs. It's just happening to me only super fast. And I was like just freaking out. And then I was like, wait, it's because I have 120 pounds of dog laying on my legs all night. So, just one of those things. And Brenda confirms their 100-pound pup wants to sit on their laps. Yep. And Cookie Keto says their dogs don't tear up the beds, they just tear up the crate mat. Dyson is a digger, and he likes to prep his area by digging around, which doesn't actually do anything. It's completely ineffective for him. So it doesn't matter. Like, I'm pretty sure if we had a bigger dog, we would have had to be more disciplinarian and be like, not allowing digging on the couch and stuff. But he is so completely ineffective that it doesn't really matter, which makes us terrible dog parents. But it's kind of funny because he'll get on the couch, which, yes, we had to buy him little stairs so he could get on the couch. And he, like, digs around before he has to lay down. So... Oh, Too Crazy Keto says they would have freaked out too. It was really hilarious. So, all right, I'm going to eat another one of these because they are really good. Oh, and the warden says they love big dogs. They had a Great Pyrenees. Nice. When I was growing up, we had during the bulk of my life, two major dogs that we had. We had Rhodesian Ridgebacks, which are awesome, amazing work dogs. And they're really cool. If you've never looked one, you should totally look them up on the internet. The reason they're called Ridgebacks is because it literally looks like you took your finger and you just like shoved it up their back, because it's like a ridge of fur on either side, and it just has like the little circle right at the top. So they are super cool. The dipping, it was literally just mustard. I use spicy brown because I like it. Mustard, mayonnaise, and then the Evil Ooze hot sauce. So it's a little zippy. I love the Evil Ooze. I don't know about other people, but it gives me a little bit of zaps on my tongue. So I was a little generous with it, perhaps, but I really love it. It's really, I still think the Habanero is my favorite of the hotline pepper, but the Evil Ooze is really up there too. And I think it goes better with all of the cheesy stuff and the crispy. Because I kind of put a lot of stuff in the meatballs too. Oh, Reichman said they love Ridgebacks. They had one for years, or Asenjis for years. Nice. Um, I will tell you the weird thing that the Ridgebacks did is that they would pinch you. I don't know how they learned it, but if they really wanted your attention, they would put their big old meaty paw and they would pinch, and it was very irritating. The other dog that we had, I really feel bad for her, although he always seemed fine, is we had a Chow. And his name was Theodore Edward Bear, because how could you not name your Chow that name? I'm pretty sure it's probably one of the most popular names for Chows ever. But I wish Chow CEO was here so they were hearing this story. But I'll have to reach out. I haven't seen them in a while. I don't know about any of you, but they would love this. So he was named Theodore Edward Bear. And there we were, living in the desert with a Chow. But fortunately, Chows are double-coated dogs, so even though they are enormously furry, they have some built-in air conditioning. But we used to also have a big swimming pool, and we used to put ice down in it, and he would play in that a lot, so that was good. And we did have an air conditioner, and we kept the house at a reasonable temperature, so he was generally happy. So, oh, let me tell you guys, I went for my bike ride yesterday. You know, I had to take a break from being out because of my sunburn, which you can't see now in the light. I'm still fairly pink. The worst thing happened. I went for my bike ride yesterday. I slathered up with my sunscreen like I'm supposed to, but I guess it was still too soon because I got home and everything blistered up and then peeled. It was disgusting. But I seem to be a lot better. And I told some of you guys that I was going to the meeting for the convention that I'm volunteering on as the head of their tabletop gaming department. And the guy who is the director of all of the gaming departments is like a master with the smoker, and he made a brisket. Oh, can I just tell you, I did not want to stop eating it. I felt like I wanted to just take one of the whole trays of his brisket and just like run away with it. And while it was good, previously I had been to his house where he cooked short ribs. And you guys, I know I eat a lot of delicious and bougie foods. I go to really fancy restaurants. Those short ribs were legit the best thing I have ever eaten. And I feel very fortunate for having had that experience. And I also felt very fortunate that he asked me to bring vegetables. And I was like, vegetables? That's a weird request for me. Okay. But then I went to the store and I got them all. And I grilled them up on my pellet smoker using a high heat. Literally, all I did was sprinkle them with the Redmonds and a little bit of a vinaigrette. And I threw them on the grill. I made sure I didn't overcook them. And I got compliments all afternoon. Hey, these veggie skewers are delicious. And I was like, well, thank you. But I was like, if you only knew, I didn't really do anything. They are just vegetables on a stick. So it worked out. Someone brought Watergate salad. And I was like, yeah. And I felt bad because they knew, and they were like, hey, I made sure I bought gluten-free marshmallows so you can have this. And I was like, there's nothing you could do to a Watergate salad that would make it edible for me. But then I got to thinking, you know, maybe, I don't think it would be something you could have very often, but maybe if we made a keto marshmallow, you know, by whipping up the gelatin, you could take your key lime bang and pump it up with a key lime extract and chop up maybe some chayote in there and some walnuts. And possibly you could, I was like, maybe you could make some weird keto Watergate salad. I don't know. It sounds like a crazy thing, but oh, and Too Crazy Keto says, yeah, where you like, how did I become the go-to vegetable person? Yes, although, it could have been weirder. They could have asked me to be the macaroni and cheese bringer because there was a big tray of that too. But, and I have got to admit, I was getting carried away with the vegetables, and I almost put together a cauli rice casserole, but at the last minute, but I wound up shorting myself on time because I had gone for my bike ride and then I was freaking out about the blistering. So uh, I wound up with like just my skewers, which was good because it means that's what we have and we don't have a mass amount of leftovers. I have a little bit of vegetables that I can finish cooking up, and like I had 3 skewers left. So, and I took like 20. So it all worked out perfect. Oh, and let's see. Oh, and Brenda said they would volunteer for any meeting that had brisket. Yes. And someone mentioned that they loved their, I think it was mom's Watergate salad, but now it whisked away from the screen and I can't find it. Oh, and Grey Life says they think Jolly wins the long lanky noodle category. Yes, they do. Oh, and of course, just in time for summer, I'm almost done with that next piece. I kept getting distracted by orders and work, and so I actually didn't finish it in a timely fashion. But I do have that the neck warmer, so we'll get it to you before into summer to prepare for the winter. No. Oh, and Lisa says yes that the evil ooze has a nice sweetness to it. Yep. And Hungry He says the evil ooze is their go-to sauce for Italian style dishes. Oh, good to know. I hadn't really thought about Italian dishes. And Grey Life says Moxie is adorable. We love corgi butts. Everybody loves corgis. I don't think that I could trust someone if they said I don't like them corgi dogs. Wouldn't that be weird? Who would say that? Anyways, I lost track. Oh, there it is. Oh, Renee says they used to love their mom's Watergate salad. So, yep. Anyways, but, yep. I'm just wondering. Oh, and Air Fry and Andy is being flattering and says they were probably I was probably asked to bring vegetables because he knew you would make them better than most people. I don't know about that. I mean, I literally didn't do anything but put them on a stick and throw them on a smoker, but and way up on a higher temperature so that they cooked fast. Oh, Sharon says they just looked up the Watergate salad. They can't do fluffy goop with nuts. It's a texture thing. Nope. Oh, so weird Jello salads. I love aspic things. I'm one of those weird freaky people. I'm in a group called Aspics with Threatening Auras, and I just freaking love it. It's hilarious. I have the best time with it. So, yeah, be very careful about asking me for Jello things. You never know what you're going to get. But, oh, my grandma, and I think that she found this weird American thing that she liked because she started making it for holidays, and the whole family used to give like side eye, and we had to eat it because, politeness. And it was so gross, but it was also just so, it was also, you still wanted to eat more of it. And I feel like that leads into this whole carb addiction thing, if you think about it, because it was a Jello salad. It was like lime green Jello and Dream Whip, so it didn't even use real whipped cream or even Cool Whip. It was like this powdered packet stuff that you put together and whipped up into a whipped topping, mixed together, and then you had, I kid you not, diced celery, and then chopped pineapple, not fresh pineapple, the kind from the can, and then walnuts. It's it's in that same family as the Watergate, only it doesn't have marshmallows. And I don't know where she even heard of such a thing because nobody in our town made such a salad. I can't even believe it's called salad, but there you go. And it was just, it was quite the experience, but we had it every holiday, and I don't know why. And everybody hated it, but everybody ate it in large quantities. It was, it was, you know what I'm talking about when you have those family things. All right, let's see. And Grey Life says they are always amused when people approach and ask if their greyhounds are mean. This is not in their bloodhound. I don't know like any greyhounds that are mean. I don't know why people would ask that. They're just really playful. And they do have a lot of energy though. But people think that a lot about like pit bulls. They think pit bulls are mean, but pit bulls just sound scary because they have that vicious sound. They're very deep throated sounding, and so all of their barks sound really scary. And of course, they are pit bulls are a single family sort of dog, one or two people, and they really, really connect, and then they protect. So they're not intentionally mean, but if you come at their people, they are extremely defensive, and because of their strength, that's a danger. But for the most part, every bully that I know is like the biggest baby, just ridiculously. But when you're playing with them, they do sound scary to some people if you don't already know that about them. And they've got such a bad reputation. It's really unfortunate because for the most part, they're not mean at all. They are big, dumb babies. And so they are the loveliest of dogs. Let's see. Oh, let's see. The 70s were big on shaped gelatin with chunky things in them. Yes, they were. And I love all that stuff. You guys, I have to tell you, I do have a copper jello mold collection. Not a lot of them, like 4 or 5. So I'm not like, I know, I have a lot of stuff, so I don't want you to think like I'm a crazy hoarder. I have coffee stuff. I have board games. If I say I have a copper mold, it's not a collection. It's like 5. And they're classics. I have the lobster. I have the one that's shaped like a nut. And then I have like a fish. And then just like a regular bundt cake shape. So I guess 4. Not a lot. Oh, I love gelatin. So, and one of the recipes that I have that I really like to make in either the fish one or the lobster shaped mold is a salmon mousse, which a lot of people really give you the stink eye when you bring like salmon mousse. But I tell you, it is actually very delicious and it is really good on pork rinds. So I'm just saying, you should try the salmon mousse. It's really good. The trick is that some salmon mousse can be really disgusting, and that is when people do things that use canned salmon. Don't ever use canned salmon for things like a mousse. It's probably okay in patties, although you are better off steaming a fresh salmon or even a frozen salmon and then flaking it up yourself. Oh, Brenda says that's a very radical geek. It is. So I'll show you guys my Jello mold sometime, and then maybe we'll make that salmon mousse because it's easily keto compliant. I also have the nightmare of all people who hate aspic and gelatins, but I think it's fantastic. I have a tomato aspic recipe that is spectacular. So I'm just saying. And don't worry, I would never, ever make like hot dog aspic or something weird like that. I did one time make a gizmo spaghetti-o one, but that was just for looks. Nobody was supposed to actually eat it. We just made it and like took pictures and then smacked it with a spoon to make it jiggle. And took a little video for the strobe effect. That's it. It was just weirdness. Someone did take a bite of it, and I was like, why would you do such a thing? Oh, air frying auntie. I would not. I would not make you try something that you didn't really weren't really willing to. I would say that you might consider it, but I would not make the salmon mousse as the seafood dish. I want to show you that you can enjoy and love seafood, so I'm not going to go all the way the other way. Oh, and Renee says they missed me for the Zoom yesterday. Yeah, but I was at the barbecue stuffing my face with brisket and talking about gaming. Plus, we played Mario Kart, and that was a lot of fun. And we played Magic, and that was amazing. Actually, I watched them play Magic instead of actually playing, and talked about our upcoming plans. We did talk a lot of shop, which was great because I got relocated from my little department. And so now it's going to be amazing. If you love board games and you love going to conventions, you should totally, and you wouldn't find it onerous to travel to Ohio and go to a convention, you should totally talk to me about this convention because the price of admission would be worth it for the tabletop room. But we also have a big arcade. We also have PC gaming and console gaming. And then they have so many kinds of really fun stuff. They have kimono dancing lessons. They have K-pop dance. They have everything anime you can imagine. And special guests and panels where you go to talks and lectures. So it's really an exciting convention. I know that I'm biased because I'm part of the staff, but trust me, I wouldn't have volunteered my time freely to help make them successful if I didn't love it as an attendee first. So, in fact, if I didn't love it, I would probably just sort of go and be like, meh, and not bother doing anything. So, let's see. And Brenda says, we still need a keto convention in Ohio. Yes, and I kind of wanted to put one together for 2023, but I don't know. The challenges that I'm having with getting it put together are enormous. So partially it is my job. My job is taking up a lot of time. As you know, I got like Air Fry and Andy, please do. We love the hotline pepper sauce link. Make sure that you also post their coupon code if we still need that. So. Oh, and the warden says next time they will post on the community page as well. Smart, yes. But yeah, so I hit some roadblocks here. And then the other thing is just not quite having enough local hands to really pitch in because it's not a one-person job. A lot of things you can do is a one-person job, and it's easier because sometimes dictating things is doing it yourself versus delegating is easier. But this is too big, and you need extra hands and delegation, and I need to make more connections. It's a lot of effort. So I'm not sure I can really pull it off. I would like to. Now, what I did think is if some of us here in Ohio want to maybe think about coming down here to Columbus for a fall picnic, I think that we could pull off. I'd be glad to fire up a grill at one of the picnic shelters here, purchase up the shelter so we had a nice one, and we could just be social. Everybody bring a dish to pass. If we wanted to do that I could set up. That I can do. No muss, no fuss. The work on that, while it's not zero, is manageable. I could organize and bring everything we need, all of that stuff. So that I might think about. I just don't know if I'm ready for it because once things started opening back up, I have a bad habit of not really being good at saying no to projects and people and then getting too much on my plate. And I had done better about backing off of that, but I sort of have gone the other direction, and now we've got too many things. So I really have to think about that and do some self-regulation there. So. Oh, and the warden says Zoom doesn't mess around on time limits. No, they do not. You know, I don't know how people feel about Discord. Do you all really hate it? I know that the Two Crazy Ketos had a Discord and we never use it. Do we just hate it? Because Discord, we could talk on there, we could video chat on there, and it's basically unlimited. Only one person has to have a paid account. I have a paid account because I use it for a lot of gaming stuff. I don't know. I don't know how people would feel about that though, because it's yet another app. And I admit, because I already have Discord, I'm struggling with getting more social media stuff because people are trying a lot of new things. And while I'm super excited to jump in and try all the new things, it's getting to be a lot of places that I have to go to find all the people. And it's hard. And it shouldn't be hard for someone as nerdy as me. Hmm. Oh, and the warden says they don't mind Discord because they use it for other groups. So yeah. But yeah, we'll have to look into it. I don't know. We could probably find something. And if it was going to be a regular thing, maybe we could kitty up together and get a paid Zoom account to extend the time limit. So, but if a couple of us were going in on it together, it could be fairly economical. And then we could multi-share it. I don't know. I'm brainstorming right now, so don't take anything I say to heart because it might be crazy. Oh, at least it says Google Meet is free and unlimited. I can't get Google Meet to work. And it kills me that it doesn't function properly because I'm on Android. It is a Google phone. And it's not even an old Google phone. It's the Samsung S21 Ultra Plus. So, there's only one phone newer than it. So I Oh, and J Dog says they don't do Discord. They've never tried it out. Yeah, and that's where you run into. Oh, and Grey Life is asking when my interview for my job, the job I already have, is. To be honest, I don't really know yet. My boss told me probably Thursday you're going to have interviews, and they're taunting me because I was like, I finally came around. I was like, so what are these interviews like? What do I have to do? Is it like with just HR people? And they're like, no, actually, HR is the one requiring them, but it's with people in the organization. And the names that they gave me were all people that I've worked with before. And so they're taunting me now, like, so are you well prepped for your interview? Are you prepared for the Inquisition? And I'm like, oh God, you guys are killing me. So it should be very interesting. I don't know what it's going to be like. I don't think they know what it's going to be like. This is a weird situation. But I'm also super excited because it'll be interesting to have, it'll be interesting for sure. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward. And I'm like, just like, and the only thing my boss told me was, please don't accidentally say something dumb. And I'm like, oh God, that's like it's like you're commanding it. Why would you say something like that? Because I am, a great big nerd. And like, it's just like guaranteeing that something dumb is going to slip out. So, but hopefully not. So. All right, everyone. I would like to go and eat some more meatballs. I'm going to finish off my cappuccino and then take my magnesium and go to bed. So. Oh no, it's not a promotion. So, but and what happens if I don't get the job? We don't know. We had a conversation about that, and honestly, we don't know. Which is why my boss said, don't say anything dumb. This is a new process. It's brand new. So they're just starting it out and they don't really know. Hey, Ran Can Cook, good evening. All right, good night, everyone. Good night, exchange student. You have a great one. So, hopefully, though, if something were to go awry, they would just continue to keep me as a contractor. They might have to fire me for a couple days and then negotiate me back under a new 1099. I don't know. It'll be exciting to find out. Oh no, I definitely don't want my boss's position ever. All right, I'm really going. Good night, all. I'll talk to you all later. Bye bye.